Let's do it.
Did I ever tell you the time we were at a party, my wife and I were at a party, and she didn't want to be there anymore?
That's how I'm starting this family-friendly episode.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom Disneyland is growing every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Disneyland, the happiest place on earth.
It's time to throw down, y'all.
Have you thought about a visit to Disneyland during your vacation?
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.
Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. Join the happy people of all ages. Yes, there's more fun at Disneyland in Anaheim. The happiest country on earth.
Welcome to Bobsleds and Banthas, a podcast about Disneyland, Star Wars, finding magic, and the power of nostalgia. On this episode, we're talking about magic key holders at Disneyland get a special spot to call their own. Roy Disney's granddaughter is soups mad at the company that bears her name. New Star Wars games are coming. Even Boba Fett thinks he talks too much. And in our main segment, most people have already broken their New Year's resolutions, but we're just getting started. We discuss our hopes, dreams, and wishes for 2022. My name is Scott Storm, and with me, my brother on the mic, the front man to Hey, That's My Bike, absolute Aaron Robbins.
Hey, welcome. Hey, that's my bike. I believe the name of Ethan Hawke's band from the 90s movie Reality Bites.
That's right, which I think we just did 20 minutes on in our Patreon.
Just trying very hard to talk about it with your wife, and I was really trying to get into a good place of Reality Bites memorandum with her.
That's right.
I wanted to talk about the definition of Irene, me, you, and $5. Hey, that's my bike.
She was
Ben Stiller.
She's way too involved in. She's taking master's classes.
Yeah,
right
she
now.
was like
She's
legitimately writing
a paper.
She was in the middle of studying.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I was like, could we call her? And you're like, I think we can call
Yeah,
her.
I'm just going to call her right now.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke's band in Reality Bites. What's the name of it?
It's very
She's
important.
like, what are you talking about?
It was more like, hey, real quick question for you. Hold on while we take 10 minutes of your day solving our audio problems, and then we're going to ask you a really weird
that's
question.
Right. I didn't even have the audio set up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hold on. I don't think we got this right. I don't think we got this set up right.
Yeah, well, it was fun anyways. Welcome to episode 90.
Yeah, it's 90.
Wow, it's a big 90. The last 10 before the whole floor falls out.
The final approach.
The final approach. We're on base turning final.
That's
Getting ready to land this thing. How you doing, man? How's your
I'm
week
great.
going? It's a Thursday afternoon in the podcast studio.
I'm great. I've spent a lot of time with you.
Yes.
I feel
We went out and one wheeled in
That's
front
it.
of the baseball team.
We did. We're like, hey, baseball team, check this out. And there was no reaction to that.
They were like, okay, we're going to go play our game now. And then the coach of the baseball team, I was like, I wanted to say good job to him, but I don't.
What? Hey, what do you say?
I don't know what you say in a sports context, so I was like, hey, good luck. And then I was like,
And I said, break a leg.
Yeah. And then when we walked by, you said, have a good episode.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I thought was funny, but I wish the baseball team good luck, and so I feel good about that today.
I hope they have a great match.
Me too. Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
That'd be great.
Episode 90, we're going to do New Year's resolutions. I'm excited. I got a bunch to talk about.
We got a lot of news to talk about.
Anything
a lot of stuff
new?
came up.
Anything new in your life? You're feeling good because we've hung out some.
Yeah, I feel a lot better than I did last week when I didn't have COVID.
Right.
And
still don't. You didn't.
I still don't. I didn't then. I
and
certainly
you still
don't
know.
now.
But you are fully recovered from what we're calling the two-finger high hose.
The Boba flu.
The Boba flu.
And
We've not recovered from that.
That's an ongoing. That is an epidemic at this point.
It seems like they might have figured out a cure for it, though, the Boba flu.
Yeah, not feature Boba Fett in any way?
The Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly.
Turns out.
Yeah. What you can do for your failing Boba Fett show is just completely pivot and spend an entire hour on characters that we actually are interested in.
And already have another TV show.
Yeah. I went trail riding on my one wheel this past weekend. I sent you texts about it. I was
pretty
like, you
serious.
got to get out here.
Yeah,
this is
pretty
great.
serious stuff. Things are on the rise. Things are looking good. It took us a while to get started in 2022, but we're here with episode 90.
We are.
Some fun news, some interesting news. I don't know if any of this news is fun, but it's definitely stuff.
It's interesting.
There's one story here that you didn't mention that is fun-ish.
Oh, I can't wait to
hear so we'll get to that.
Well, why don't we get to it right now?
Let's do the news.
Aaron.
The news. The news.
Do I have a cup of news?
Welcome to the news.
It's time for news.
Oh.
Remain seated, please.
Permanecer sentado.
Hey, so do you
Hey.
like being an annual pass holder?
I did when I was an annual pass holder. I enjoyed it.
And
What I enjoyed about it, I liked getting the magazine in the mail.
You did?
Yeah, I liked that. Reminded me. I liked at every restaurant and every gift kiosk in Disneyland, they say, "Are you an annual pass holder?" And you go, "Yes, I am." And they go, "That's great." It was just really the question. You don't need to like smile and do a dance.
well, now if you're an annual pass holder,
Yeah, what do I get?
Magic Key Holder is what we call them now. Walt Disney Imagineering is beginning work in Disneyland to create, to renovate the Magic Key Terrace,
Disneyland Resort.
Disneyland's California Adventure.
Yes.
I guess there is a pass holder only area
Yes,
and it's a lounge, and they are beginning to renovate it.
they are.
And make it a Club 33 like experience is basically what they're
I
saying.
would call it Club 33 Light.
It's like more like Club
21.
I was gonna say
18, 6, 4.
12 and a half. It was like
Yeah.
12. Nope. Club 11 and a half.
Club 11.5, definitely.
No.
No.
Nope. Club 16 and a half.
There you go. Club 16.5. It's half as good.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I just do that math correctly?
Maybe 32 plus 1. You're there.
I'm just making
you
sure.
made it.
Yeah, I
you
made
did
it.
great. It's
I
over in
don't do math professionally.
I tried to do math the other day and it didn't go well.
Man, I am doing 7th grade math almost every single night right now because
Yeah.
I'm checking homework.
Yeah.
And I'm like grinding my brain to
Totally.
remember how to do these things.
My first instinct is always to blame the teacher. So I'm like, well, that's not the way you learn this.
Oh,
I
this
get
is
what
dumb.
they're
What
doing,
kind-
but this is not
kind
the
of
right
new
way to
math
learn it.
is this?
Yeah, no. Let me show you how you actually do this. I'm like, how do you actually do this?
That's
So they're
easy.
getting the key holders, the magic key holders are getting a sort of dedicated, what I'm going to call a chill hang spot
chill hang.
over in Disney's California Adventure.
Yeah.
And this is past the waterfall where the wine terrace used to be.
Yes.
Blue Sky Studios used to be at the bottom there where you'd get a little sneak peek at all the fun things happening in the Disneyland Resort. And then there was that little restaurant there that I've never eaten at. Actually, I've never eaten there or drank in there either because you could get wine there.
That's the wow, what's it
It's called like Alfresco's Terrace when
Yeah.
it first opened. Then
Right.
it was called the Wine Terrace or something. But Monterey overlooks it as
Right.
it should.
Yes.
And there you go. That's where it's going to be. They're going to gut that thing and turn it into the pass holder, the key holder lounge.
Now it's a key holder lounge that's going to be inspired by Spanish architecture, whatnot.
Yeah.
So they're going to be redoing this whole thing. The thing that is interesting to me about this is open to all key holders,
Which is way more than the population of Club 33. To call
Right.
it like a Club 33 thing is like there's not a lot of Club 33-ins.
no, it is a very exclusive thing to belong
Yeah.
to Club 33. It's not very exclusive to have a magic key.
Yeah.
And we also know that
At least
there
it
is
has
a
not been.
right, and there's a lot of annual pass holders. So I wonder how quote unquote special
This
this
is gonna be.
place is going to be, or is it just another place for most people to be able to access? And
Yeah.
at which point, does it feel like an exclusive perk in any way?
Yeah, if it's the whole terrace and the building above it, that is a sizable piece of land. So, I mean, I imagine you could go in there, sit, and have your own sort of dedicated tables. It seems like an odd play to Disney to create exclusivity like that in this particular
Right.
environment.
Right.
That seems, I don't want to say tone deaf because I think that's pushing it too far, but it does seem a little out of context with people are saying, hey, the lines are long, the parks are heading back to being crowded. We don't love what you did with pass holders. We don't love what you're doing with Genie Plus. And now you're saying if I pay this other level,
But at the same time, this is very much in line with what Disney is doing in terms of you have your pay to enter,
Right,
and then
right.
your
Yeah,
tiers
yeah,
up to
yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah, you're right,
And,
yeah.
and so it doesn't feel. I mean, this is almost it. In some ways, it's like it's a news story, but it doesn't feel particularly impactful or interesting because I'm just like, okay, there's another thing that
You can
only
pay.
some people will be able to
Yeah,
experience
you can
based on the
and now
amount of
there's a
money
whole
they
area of the park that you can
Right,
get.
right.
We need a pass holder land.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
If you are a pass holder, then you have access to just these attractions.
Yeah.
These are
Pass holder attractions.
We should not. Be
You went to
saying
the
these things.
same
We should not
JPEG
be saying
training?
these things.
Training that I did over the weekend.
The mere utterance of this ridiculous idea
Yeah.
is almost guaranteed to see the light
Yeah.
of day as a
We
result.
could do that. That overflow land we were going to build last year. We could just turn that into a pass holder
You're
land.
You're just making me sad.
I don't want to make you sad. You want to move on to a less sad story?
Yeah, let's talk about how. Let's talk about the less sad story.
Oh, good.
Where Abigail Disney,
Yes.
the granddaughter of Roy O. Disney, Walt's brother,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
of Walt and Roy Disney fame,
Yeah.
has been a a very strong advocate for cast member rights, worker rights at the Walt Disney Company for a long time. She recently produced a documentary called The American Dream and Other Fairy Tales at the Sundance Film Festival this past week. And it pretty much is all about how she's taking aim at the Walt Disney Company, that she doesn't believe that cast members are being treated fairly, that they're being compensated fairly, that members like Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are making way more money and not passing any of that down to the workers. And she's very upset.
Interesting.
She's very upset.
All right.
Are you interested in seeing this documentary at all?
I've known that's been her stand. I've read some stuff she's written.
Yeah, I mean,
about
this is
that.
not new.
Yeah, in the past, and so I certainly always appreciate somebody looking out for the worker, especially a cast member. I'm all for that. I think the story gets a little more complicated very quickly. I could see how an executive read that and be like, it's not exactly the way the world actually works. And so I can appreciate both sides of it.
She takes a very anti-corporation approach in general. I mean, she includes Amazon and Walmart and McDonald's and these things. So this is a whole, fat cats getting fatter and the people who actually build the corporation.
I think I would like to. And I think it's a question I think that Disney has had the trouble of having to participate in the answer to this question since Walt days and the formation of media studio unions, where things went from like, hey, I've got the vision, I make the gut decision in the moment, I see it and I decide what movie we're going to do and which scenes are going to go in. So I'm making all these really sketchy decisions off the fly, and I'm at the head, and you guys are animators, and we're this family, and then the animators and people are like, well, I don't see us as family. I see this as a job.
Right, I am a worker.
That you need to compensate me for. So it's a struggle as old as the company itself.
Yeah. Hey, let's move from Abigail Disney.
Yeah, to
Respawn Entertainment.
Oh yeah, Respawn.
You're familiar with Respawn Entertainment? They a very large video game developer.
Yep.
That I believe was started from Activision, but I don't believe is owned by Activision anymore. I think they're their own thing.
Yeah.
Anyways,
and if they're owned by Microsoft now, anyways.
Oh, that's right, because Activision bought Microsoft. Microsoft bought Activision
for $70 billion.
So much money.
That's so much money.
Crazy amount of money.
Yeah,
I say good.
It's 10 times what they paid for Star Wars, right? Yeah, it's 10 times what they paid for Star Wars.
Who paid for Star Wars? Microsoft didn't buy Star Wars.
Disney paid for Star Wars, didn't they pay $6 or $7 billion for Star Wars?
$4 billion. They paid $4 billion.
It's more than 10 times. Yeah. Microsoft paid $70 billion for Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and whatever other thing they got in development.
Yeah, that's bananas.
It is. It's unstationary bananas. It's rickety rackety bananas.
It's flippity floppity bananas.
It sure is.
Anyways, Respawn Entertainment, they announced that they are developing multiple Star Wars video games.
Awesome.
Including a follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, right.
Which came out, I think, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe even 4 years ago at this point. Anyways,
could be. I played it. Yep.
The third-person action-adventure game, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't play all the way through it, but I played what I played of it. I enjoyed.
Same.
They're also developing a original first-person shooter in the Star Wars universe, which I do not believe is a Battlefront shooter. I think it's supposed to be a separate FPS, and a strategy game. Which I'm assuming means a real-time strategy game.
Like a StarCraft, like a Warcraft top-down type of thing. That's cool.
This was big news that there was an announcement of 3 Star Wars video games.
They're not doing a MOBA. I would trade that strategy game in for
maybe
a MOBA.
Maybe it is. Do you think maybe it is?
Yeah, like a League of Legends, but in the Star Wars universe. That would be Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, but done as Star Wars. I'm sure that is a popular topic. That's what they should be doing.
You're just saying things, but I don't know what any of those things mean.
And I think that Battlefield 3 is coming out as well.
Do you think Battlefield 3 is the FPS that they're developing?
I hope not.
I don't think so. Because Respawn didn't do that. That was
whatever.
Another company.
That's
right.
Electronic Arts via Sledgehammer.
How do you like Star Wars video games? Are you a fan of Star Wars video games?
They historically do not perform very well because I think they come with an embedded promise of amazingness that is very hard to deliver on. But not all of them have been terrible.
No, production-wise, they're usually hitting it out of the park. I mean, it's... I have really enjoyed Battlefront. I understand the pay-to-play thing with Battlefront 2 was a big issue, but I'm not day-and-date video games as it is, so usually bugs and things like that get worked out before I actually get into a game. So when I get into a game, I've enjoyed it. Like I said, Fallen Order, I really enjoyed. I like my Star Wars games.
I do too. I don't get into them as much as some of the other games, but I do like them. And there's been some that have been great over the years.
Yeah. Anyways, there was a lot of fan backlash last week about plot holes in the Book of Boba Fett.
Interesting.
Most specifically, this was the episode 4.
Okay, yeah.
Where Boba Fett and Fennec Shand
talk.
The plot hole is why they talk so much. That's our next news story, actually.
Okay, great.
Where Boba Fett and Fennec Shand recover Boba Fett's starship.
Oh, right, yeah.
His famous starship, Boba Fett's starship.
Yeah, Boba Fett's starship.
Which he refers to in the episode as my fire spray, is what he refers to it as.
Fire spray.
Which I saw a lot of fans reacting online like, no, it's Slave One, don't call it a fire spray. But in Disney's defense, the model of the ship is a fire spray.
Okay.
And so it would make sense that he's saying to somebody, hey, I need you to help me recover my fire spray.
That's my fire spray.
Because if he said,
that's my Impala. My Impala's name. Yeah, I get it.
My Impala's name is this. Like, why are you, what are
my
you
Impala's name is Bubba's car.
Right.
But it is an Impala. Apparently at one point in time it had a different name.
It had a different name.
Yeah, that was it was kind of cool to see it. It was I'll be honest with you, I thought it was cool to see it fly. I enjoyed
the plot hole though.
Oh yeah,
is that they take the Boba Fett starship,
yes,
Slave One,
yeah,
and they go back to the Sarlacc to go look for Boba Fett's armor because he thinks it's in the Sarlacc.
Yeah, and you see little bits of the sail barge blowing up around there. You're like, ooh, it feels like Return of the Jedi just happened last week, and they're not last week, but last year, and we're coming up on it.
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah,
but they went to go look for his armor.
Yeah. In the Sarlacc pit.
In the Sarlacc that he escaped,
punched his way through
using his armor.
Yeah, he punched his way out of it and then
blasted out of it.
And for some
reason, he believes that it's still in there.
Yeah. Why did he do that?
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
That's the plot hole people are talking about. They're saying,
maybe it was the little...
how did this make it into a final edit?
Yeah.
When anybody who's watching it can go like, well, we all know what happened with the armor.
You were wearing... It's like when you look for your sunglasses and you're like, where did I put those?
Oh, they're on my head.
Oh, there, yeah.
Oh, they're on my head.
That's right. I'm sorry. They're not in the Sarlacc pit. They were on my head the whole time.
The whole time.
Why did that happen?
People are like, I don't know. People are just, they're talking about, quote, incredibly sloppy.
There is no way that Jon Favreau writes this show. I figured it all. I think I told you. Jon Favreau has a kid whose name is Jon Favreau.
John Jr.
John Jr. Favreau, and that's who's writing it. He's 6 years old.
6 years old.
And he's like, but it was cool because the armor was in the Sarlacc pit and it was all shiny and he went back to get it. And they're like, doesn't make any sense. He was wearing it.
What if, John, just spit out.
What is it that you want to happen, little boy? I know you're excited. What would you like to happen?
What if Boba Fett got a pet Rancor?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we'll just write that in.
Just
that
do
sounds
that.
good. I mean, you really built it up. It didn't seem like it was that important.
It's okay. Probably nobody will mind. Yeah, it'd be cool. Do that.
That's how the show feels.
That's how.
I don't think little Johnny Jr. is the only one that. Johnny Jr. is very happy with the way the show is.
It's going great.
Made.
And if my 6-year-old wrote it, I would be jazzed.
Oh my gosh!
I would be like, there was a beginning, and that's a good start.
You base it off a character people know.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. The name is based off of. The character itself, nobody has any idea what this is.
No, I actually heard somebody online or read somewhere online that somebody said like, oh, I get it. This is not Boba Fett. This is a clone who is wearing Boba Fett's armor because the real Boba Fett has been digested by the Sarlacc.
Dead. And this is like opportunity.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Like, yes,
that's
100% that makes sense.
This is a clone.
Anyways, not even the fans are limited to believing that there is a problem with the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
Tamura Morrison, who plays Boba Fett, did an interview recently, and he was talking about how he thinks that his character, Boba Fett, talks way too much during the Book of Boba Fett.
I would tend to agree with that.
And that he actually tried to get some of his lines shifted over to Fennec Shand so that he was more of a man of quiet mystery and less a grandfather who just wants everybody to have a good time.
Maybe we just don't talk so much.
Yeah, he said, I've got all these paragraphs here, and I think we should get rid of it. And John's gone to Atlanta. John Jr., I believe.
Yes,
Little Johnny Favreau.
John Fav Jr.
And John's gone to Atlanta, so don't tell him. Next morning on set, I get a call from Atlanta. John wants you to say all the dialogue. We'll take it out later.
What is going on with that show?
There's so much to talk about.
Okay, we'll do it later.
And again, we will get to it.
Can I just ask one question though? I want your opinion on this. This is not directly about Boba Fett, but growing up in the 80s and 90s, if a TV show performed as badly as Boba Fett is performing from an audience experience or whatever, and people were talking about it, and it was like, that was not horrible. Did you feel like the feeling was like, it's just inevitable that this thing's going away? Like, it's totally safe to make fun of this now. This is discount bin all the way. You feel like our ability to hang on to a show because we can binge watch it now is like, I just don't understand why it doesn't feel like it has the same consequences for having a huge, like they would cancel shows 3 episodes in.
Well, I think the difference is that, back when we were growing up, a show got 27 episodes.
Yeah, or they could do a half order.
Right, you had your front end and your back end, 26. You get 26 episodes in a season, front end 13, and sometimes there was a mid-season cancellation at 13.
Okay, yeah.
Right? But sometimes you would get the thing where it's like it's canceled in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But that I feel like was more of a rarity. I think typically you would have a mid-season cancellation with a mid-season replacement of a new show.
Yeah.
This is 7 episodes and it's done.
Right.
And
Disney's, they're all done. They're not shooting them week to week either.
Right,
they're
exactly.
Done.
So I think probably Disney's like, well, we can just release it. It's 7 episodes. If it does great, we'll definitely greenlight a second season.
Yeah, you're right. It's a whole different way of thinking.
And if not, it's evergreen content because we need to feed this beast that constantly needs to be eating. So now we've given it a season of Boba
Yeah,
Fett.
you're right. Before it was more like there were things in development, things like it was more like an athletic person. If they're not doing well, we bench them we bring out a new player, and because there were limited spots and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are time slots. And you're like, okay, well, this time slot, this show is not performing in this time slot.
That
We're
helps
gonna
my
shift
thinking.
it to somewhere else.
You can't allow Boba Fett to be the Thursday at 8 time slot anymore. He just doesn't last.
Now they're like, okay, we'll make another season of Boba Fett because
so many people enjoy.
Some people will watch it.
So many people enjoy hating this show. It's golden.
Yeah, exactly. They almost like, why would we stop?
Yeah.
We're getting so much news about this show, and more people are watching it.
No doubt. YouTube is a flutter and a flitter with people, and a Twitter with people just shot by shot saying how bad this show is.
But it's not bad.
Right.
We're not rendering a judgment on it because we'll talk about it when it finishes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a show that is, we'll say following in the footsteps of Boba Fett, but we don't know what that means. Ahsoka has begun production this month. Of course, the Ahsoka Tano standalone series, which will feature the exploits of Ahsoka and Sabine Wren, a character from Star Wars Rebels, which is a fantastic animated series that if you have not watched it, you should absolutely watch. Ahsoka and Sabine Wren going to look for Ezra, another character from Star Wars Rebels. And that, I guess, is the focus of this season, of the season of Ahsoka that's shooting right now. I think she's good. I don't think she's great as a character. I know, but I also recognize I'm in the minority. Nevertheless, let me see this. I'm interested. However, after watching Book of Boba Fett, which we're not reviewing.
No, she's in a great spot. That show's in a great spot.
You think so?
Yeah,
because it can only go up from
here. It's like
here,
when you're in like a piano recital or something. It's like you don't want the person that plays in front of you to like biff it.
That's true.
But when they do, you're just like, doesn't matter what I go up in there and play, is all going to be good.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. So it begins shooting this month.
Yay.
And I think it's going to be released by maybe the end of this year. Maybe the end of this year. Because I don't know if they have announced that Mandalorian Season 3 is coming back in December of this year, or if it's going to be Ahsoka and then Mandalorian, or maybe the Mandalorian will just continue to make cameo appearances and take up an entire episode in all of these Star Wars.
The bounty hunter that takes up other people's shows.
Yeah, exactly. He's
the
opportunist.
Up in Zombies 3.
And they're like, have you seen Mandalorian Season 3? And they're like, I didn't think there was. And you're like, oh, hold on.
You have to watch it in different other shows.
Yeah.
They're Boba Fett episode 5. It's Ahsoka episode 3. It's
like when comic books do crossover events and you cannot know what the entire story is unless you buy the single issues from all the other titles. That's what it's like.
I'm going to reserve judgment on episode 5. What else you got? I got Minnie Mouse is going to be wearing a pantsuit in Paris this month.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you talk about that? Minnie Mouse in her pantsuit.
Oh, no. She's getting out of the dress, getting into a pantsuit.
Some people are freaking out about this. I
guess so. Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like there are a lot of things happening in the world right now.
That's true, Scott. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a lot of things happening in the world right now.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, there are a lot of things.
I know you haven't been out of the bunker, but it's kind of a nightmare out there.
It seems like there are things people should be concerned about.
Yeah.
And I just don't know whether or not Minnie Mouse wearing a pantsuit is one of those things that we should really be upset. Even if we're just going to be concerned about things within the Disney company.
Sure.
I feel like even on that list, Minnie wearing a pantsuit is pretty low on the list of things to be concerned about.
I hear you. Made a lot of news.
And it's also just Disneyland Paris.
It is Disneyland Paris.
And it's just celebrating, is it 20th anniversary?
I believe it's the 30th.
30th anniversary of Euro Disney, as I like to call it. I still call it Euro
I call
Disney.
it the park that Eisner built.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for that guy.
I know you do.
Still hoping for adoption.
Really?
By Brock, not by...
What if you were Brock's brother? Aaron! Mom! Aaron took all the mashed potatoes.
Never, Brock. We're going to be okay.
Aw, Aaron. I love you.
Why does he get the top bunk? The top bunk. He's only been in our family for like 2 days.
He's only been your son for a while. I've been your son forever.
It's okay, Brock. It's all good.
It's Breck.
Is it Breck? On this show, his name's Brock. Because that way,
Breck.
Because that way, our hope of getting Breck on the show doesn't go away. Because we were talking about Brock,
Well, we're talking about Brock Eisner,
an alter ego of Breck, who demands wide grocery store aisles.
That's right.
Lots of candy hearts. This box only has 80 candy hearts in it.
Every one of these candy hearts say "Be mine." I don't want to be yours.
Brock.
And it's your future brother.
Yeah, my future
Stepbrother,
brother.
your future stepbrother.
My future stepbrother. The park that his dad built.
That's right. Euro
I hear
Disney.
beautiful and not crowded. That's just what I hear.
I heard the same thing.
Oh, good.
I hear it's beautiful.
Never been. You've never been.
No, I would love to though.
Okay,
it's got
me too.
a dragon under the castle.
I know.
That's amazing.
That feels like something that our listeners should like. We're sending you guys there, and you're going to film it and report back.
Yeah, just support us on that Patreon so we can go.
So we can go to and get all that hard hitting Disneyland Paris commentary. So we covered the pantsuit. We covered Dave Smith. Are we going to cover Dave Smith and the new window on Disneyland Main Street? Dave Smith, Disneyland archivist, the person in the 70s, 60s brought the idea of archiving.
So, like, you gonna throw that out? No, you shouldn't throw that out. Bring that over here.
I'm gonna put it in my van.
I'm gonna put it in a piece of plastic.
Yeah, we should preserve some of this. Dave Smith got a window on Main Street, which is neat. Town archivist is his.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Good for him.
Above
Dave
the Futurosity
Legend,
shop, I believe, is where it's at. I think.
Did I say Dave Legend? I think I may have called him Dave.
I think
Legend.
you called him Dave Land Legend Smith.
Dave Land Legend Smith.
Yeah.
Good for Dave Smith.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh, I love that.
Okay,
that's good.
That's all the news I have.
Maybe we should just end on that happy note because the other one we got is this Peter Dinklage story.
You want to read about that?
Yeah. He is furious about the live-action Snow White.
He really is.
And then Disney responded, and they're like, please, Peter Dinklage, don't be furious with us.
They're like, hold on.
All we did was change. Cool here.
All we did is change everything about the story except for the things that might be offensive to you. That's it. I don't understand what the problem is.
Listen, we're very focused on making sure that we are representing everybody well, except for maybe some people.
Yeah. They
but
opened
he was
it up.
Like furious.
Yeah, he was not happy.
Disney said we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters: Sleepy, Sneezy,
Doc,
Happy, Dopey, Bashful, Grumpy.
Yeah, and Radical.
And we have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community, and we look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period.
Yeah.
When they say lengthy development period, to me,
notes.
That's Hollywood saying, maybe this doesn't come out.
Oh, maybe you're right.
You know what? Maybe
like those Splash Mountain changes.
Yeah, right.
We're consulting with a lot of groups. It's a very lengthy, I promised that to get more information to you as soon as you've forgotten this is anything we ever talked about.
Right.
Let's take a little break, Scott Storm, as we reconfigure ourselves after that news story, and we'll come back. A lot of people have a lot of things they want to get done with their life. They have a lot of things they want to change about their life.
That's right.
Things that they are not happy with and wish they did differently, and things they're aspirational, goals and hopes that they have.
Goals, hopes, dreams. Some would even say a resolution.
A resolution that they have resoluted to do something.
And we resolve to come back after this break and talk about what our resolutions are.
Yay!
Well. Coming up right after these messages.
Yes.
Good evening and Happy New Year. I'm Mark Daniel coming to you live from the train station overlooking Main Street, USA. Of course, there will be fireworks and music. In less than 5 minutes, we will celebrate the new year together with Fantasy in the Sky fireworks and a special countdown only Disney can create.
Second star to the right shines in the night for you. the dreams you plan really can come true. The second star to the right.
What are you doing?
I'm getting my notes out.
I thought you were
Aaron.
going to hand them to me. Like, here's your resolutions.
I made some goals for
This
you.
is what I would like to see you do.
Hey, so we're coming back after where I just said we were.
Yep.
So I kept that resolution.
Nice job.
Thank you.
2022 +1 for Scott Storm.
Put one in the win column.
Yeah.
Last year we did a show at the beginning of January. This year we
had some problems,
That's
okay?
what I was trying to say. Some
The
problems.
resolution forces were against us.
And so we are here at the end of January to talk about what our resolutions for 2022
Still
are.
in January, so it
And
counts.
it counts.
Yeah.
It still counts.
Tie goes to the runner, Scott.
Now, we did this last year. We had a show where we talked resolutions. I listened back to that show. You're more than welcome to listen to that show. I believe it's like episode 41.
It's in the 40s.
It's in the 40s for our New Year's resolutions for 2021. And I got to say, almost every single one of those resolutions we did not keep.
Oh, nice. Way to go.
But in
Do you remember
our
any
defense,
highlights? Do you remember anything at all?
Yeah, in our defense, there were a lot of goals that we had. Again, we had this discussion about what is a resolution, was a goal. A goal is
I
a thing
remember
you can
that
accomplish.
conversation. Yeah.
A resolution is something you aim to do without
Yes.
necessarily a necessary end. So,
I remember having that conversation with you, Scott, and thinking, I've never had this conversation before. Some of these conversations I've had on this podcast, I've had with other people in my head or whatever. I've never had this goal versus resolution conversation.
welcome to life with Scott Storm.
That's very true. More true than you guys know.
So
I've never considered that. Do you need me to consider it right now?
and you had to.
Yeah.
And you had to. So some of our misses.
Yes.
I would say a large category of my miss was had to deal with going to the park. Right. So I talked about like going to Galaxy's Edge, eating Monte Cristo, doing the shooting gallery hat trick. Do you remember when I mentioned the shooting gallery hat trick?
I do remember
I
that.
said I wanted you and I to go down to Disneyland. I wanted to beat you at the Frontierland
Then
shooting gallery.
Yep.
Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin.
Yes.
And a Toy Story Midway Mania.
Yep, that would be it.
Now, because we did not go down to the park.
I beat you by default because I was there.
By default. Yes, you're right.
And I did play maybe 2 of those things.
Did you eat a Monte Cristo last year?
I didn't, no.
See, there you go. That's one thing that you didn't do.
Yeah.
We also said that we were going to do 10 banger episodes.
Oh, we nailed that.
were interviews.
Oh.
Interviews.
Sorry.
And we accomplished 7 of those. Of course, we talked with Tom Morris a couple of times. We talked with Imagineer Brian Crosby. We talked with Mark Andrada from the We Like Theme Parks podcast, Chris Bond from the We Like Theme Parks podcast. We talked with Troy from Disney Assembled and Imagineer Chris Merritt. So I feel like we had 7 really, really good interviews. We did not get a chance to talk to Tony Baxter like we had hoped.
Still waiting on that.
We did not get a doll of Rolly Crump embedded in It's a Small World.
That's a long-term, that's a life resolution.
It's a life resolution.
Yeah.
So I guess you're right. It didn't have to necessarily be accomplished in 2020.
I'm still on that. We're still very pro Raleigh Crump doll
Absolutely.
in It's a Small World. When that takes off, when that gets momentum, the Bantha Boys will be there.
You know who to thank for that.
You know who to thank. And also Bantha Boys will be there.
Right. You don't have to thank us.
You just know that there is somebody you should thank, and you probably know who that is. A name came to mind.
A name or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we, again, I think a lot of our resolutions were theme park based. Because I did not go to the theme park, I could not accomplish those resolutions.
A big 0 in that column.
Yeah, I mean, so again, I'm doing better than I did last year.
It's great. Improvement's what we like to see.
But let's talk about this year.
Yeah.
Let's forget about last year. Who cares about 2021?
I'm having a very hard time caring about it.
I'm sure. So do you have any resolutions for 2022? Again, we'll say goals, resolutions, hopes.
I don't know how we broke them down. I broke mine down into like movies, Disney Plus, theme park, podcast, Patreon, merch.
Wow, you really categorized yours.
One of my New Year's resolutions
listicle.
from last year was to categorize more things. I don't know if you remember.
You wanted more organization.
I wanted more organization in my life, and this is sort of me making good on that resolution.
Oh, well, good. I'm happy to hear that.
So here's one of my movie resolutions, and I want your real-time response to this. My movie resolution for 2022 is to give The Good Dinosaur a chance.
Oh.
Whoa!
I mean, you could.
I mean, it's a resolution. I'm doing it. I asked my storytelling class. We cover a lot of Pixar stuff in that class and talk about it. And 4 of them, 4 of 20 something in the class were like, no, Good Dinosaur is an actual good movie. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh, that's the reason why they're in a storytelling class. So they can learn what a good movie
I was like,
is.
I was like, what is even the plot structure of that movie? And so I was like,
so you're going to watch it for your class?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to watch it for myself.
What does it mean,
first.
give it a chance? You're going to rewatch it, is what you mean?
It means it's letting the expectation die. That's part of giving it a chance. I have an expectation this is a Pixar movie and it's going to be good. So now I know that it's not. So I can let that go, and I can just watch it for what it is.
Okay. That's a good.
Yeah, that's my movie resolution.
Okay.
Watch Good Dinosaur with just a sort of, hey, this is a movie.
Okay. That's
in my movie category,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's the only one in my movie category.
I only have one in my movie category, and it's really it's a podcast movie category, and it was discuss/review of the Star Wars movies with you. We have talked about many times on the show. You and I have never actually discussed or reviewed any Star Wars movie.
I don't even know that you've seen them, to be honest with you.
You have
There's
no
evidence.
idea.
There's no evidence.
There's no
for
evidence.
It.
There's no evidence. And you and I have never discussed like what is our favorite, why is it our favorite. We've adjacent. We've talked tangentially about these things, but we've never actually discussed them. And I think in 2022 we need to start reviewing Star Wars movies.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to move on to Disney Plus.
Is it Watch the Mysterious Benedict Society? Because it should be. Let me just put that on your list for you. Here, I've made a list
need to
for
be
you.
on there.
You know what's on my Google search right now?
What?
I just looked over at Google,
What's
and
in
it
there?
just says Reality Bites Band.
Yeah, that's good.
What is the band from Reality Bites?
Man, this was hard to read. It looked like it said not Revenge of the Ghost while the waterman is thrashing, but that's not what my
Do
writing
you have a
said.
fever dream? What happened there?
Here's my Disney Plus New Year's resolution to myself. As a resolution, this is more like I'm going to stop doing this.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to stop reading reviews of the show that I'm currently watching while I'm watching it. Something that I do. So
like as you're watching Boba Fett, you're reading a review about Boba
lots
Fett?
of them. It's not just Boba Fett, but I did this a lot during Mandalorian. I did this during Boba Fett.
You're reading reviews of it while you're
actually watching. Oh,
as opposed to watching the episode and then going to
letting
read
it
reviews?
settle, figuring out how I feel about it. And
Yeah.
I'm already still like upset that I'm like, this isn't, I don't know. Are people with me or
Yeah, and you're
against
looking
me?
for validation.
I'm looking for validation.
Yes.
I'm going to stop looking for validation. I think I might actually enjoy shows more. Because when I let go of all that with Mandalorian is when I actually started enjoying that show.
I think that's very healthy.
Thank you.
I think that is a healthy way of looking. Now, listen, after the episode, absolutely go look and see what people think about it.
Yeah.
But while you're watching it, don't let your experience be tainted by somebody else, especially someone that's not even your family that's sitting right next to you.
The internet is my family.
Oh boy,
I know.
that's sad. Maybe one of your. I have another resolution. Suggest a resolution.
Okay,
for
what is it?
Don't break up with your internet family.
Like leave my internet family?
Yeah, I think you should leave your internet family.
I don't know if I can. They
For
know where
your
I live.
real family.
Okay, that's good. That's my Disney Plus resolution. Do you have a TV episode, a shorter form Disney Plus? Maybe just like, I don't know.
I don't
keep
have
your
a,
Apple remote charged.
it doesn't lose the charge that much.
Okay,
So I feel like I'm pretty good
always
with
out
that.
of batteries.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No, I feel pretty good.
Nobody
about it.
ever knows where it is.
Now that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's important for you to figure out where your remote is.
Yeah.
And not only is that a cliche thing to constantly lose your remote, but it is the remotes are so small.
It's small. The Apple remote's
is really
small and it's slippery. I know you can get it on your phone. We all have it on our phones as backup.
No.
But we spend 5 minutes like looking for it. Is it between the couches? On the couch? Did the dog eat it?
I make sure the remote goes back in the same place every single
You
time
have like a
when
caddy?
I'm using it. I don't have a remote caddy.
You have
I
a place.
should though.
You should have a
but I have a
remote caddy.
place. I have a designated spot for the remote to go.
Yeah.
It's in front of the TV.
So what, do you have any other actual TV resolutions?
I have a video content resolution,
Okay,
which
cool.
is just more video content. I feel like whether we're talking about Instagram Live, whether we're talking about starting a YouTube channel,
What about podcasting in a hallway?
of podcasting in a stadium full of people.
Yeah.
I think we're accomplishing that right now.
Done.
Whatever video content for bobsleds should be,
Needs to be,
I
yeah.
would like to get there, and
Me too.
and I think it'd be a lot of fun. And now that's a lot of work. Again, we talked about how there's so many things that we want to do.
Yeah, it depends on
just
how you do it.
take
If it's a
more time.
produced video, if they're produced video shows that require editing, if they're more just like, hey, what's up, then it's a little easier. But if these are like thought out things, like we tried to do a lightsaber review one time.
That's
it's just
right.
a ton of editing.
It is a lot of editing. So
but-
I think, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
YouTube being the platform that it is right now,
Yeah.
do you think you can do, hey, what's up on YouTube's? Do you think we could go out there with whatever camera we have and shoot a quick guerrilla-styled video and have people enjoy that? Or do you think YouTube's at a point where it has to be produced in order for people to watch it, enjoy it, find it, discover it, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes in the type of content you're offering. If the type of content you're offering is, sought after but niche, and what a few people are very desperate for that type of content.
Yeah.
How to repair a certain type of record player or whatever. And you're the only one that has that. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
just get the content out.
Right.
The more you move into entertainment, I think more production is now expected.
Yeah.
And plus, we're operating on the idea that, hey, you know who we are and you're interested in what our thoughts are.
Right.
Versus you don't know who you are and we have to introduce that. And that's where YouTube causes problems for us, is you're almost reestablishing your brand.
Yeah.
And I think we both like that thing. I just feel like I'm in the stage of my life where whoever is listening to this podcast right now, I consider us friends, and
we're friends.
I only want to talk to you, to be honest with you. But it made my New Year's resolution too under my podcasting category of video content.
And what would you like to see that video content be? Because I'm all over the place. I'm let's do us one wheel videos together.
Yeah.
Let's do reviews of movies that we just got done seeing together. Let's do, we're do a pre-produced thing of us going to theme parks or road trips or whatever.
Yeah, those are that would be the category that would most fill my bucket. Would be playing a board game, playing board games, or playing Star Wars related games with the family, however that works. Playing something that's experiential and storytelling where we can just be ourselves and I don't have to dot my I's and cross my T's with a review and was it fair and did I give it enough time, and
just slice of life stuff.
Just slice of life where I don't have to run it through a filter. I can just have fun with you, and that would be in a gaming thing or road trip, traveling, theme park, sort of that kind of stuff. Those would be my two favorites of types of content.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. That actually goes into one of my next goals.
Oh, let me hear it.
Which is, it's a twofer.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Robin Storm Adventures, just more stuff to do with our families. Our families are so compatible, which is what an answer to prayer in a lot of ways, because you and I have good friendship. But there are those friendships that you have where it's just this is really just going to be about you and me because our wives aren't compatible or our kids aren't compatible, whatever it is. What an enormous blessing it is to have our families enjoy spending time with each other and crave to spend time with each other. And so, we need to have more Robin Storm's adventures together, whether that's roller skating.
That's happening.
Board gaming.
That's happening.
Going to the movies, barbecuing.
That's happening. I'm not sure about the barbecuing.
Water slides?
Yeah.
That seems, can we do that? I feel like we can't do that.
Why can't we do that?
Why not?
What if we took a multi-family vacation to the Great Wolf Lodge?
Oh my goodness.
There's one in Manteca.
That folds into my next one, which is part A was Robin Storm Adventures. Part B was road trips with Aaron.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't have to be the entire family, but I feel like you and I need to take a road trip together.
Yeah.
And document it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great.
One of the things that every time I tell my wife a conversation you and I have, she usually at some point in the week will say, "Scott's really good for you."
Oh,
and I'm
that's
like,
nice.
And I'm like, I know, but I feel like I'm done growing as a person.
You don't
want to grow anymore.
You don't need to step into discomfort anymore.
Yeah. So I think that would be
terrifies you. Road trip with me, it terrifies you.
I think it'd be cathartic, helpful, scary.
Great.
So I don't know.
We get some beef jerky.
Oh, well, then I'm in. I'm in.
Beef jerky and a couple cameras.
Yeah. Beef jerky. That's the name of the documentary. It's called Beef Jerky and a Couple of Cameras. Done. I would love it.
Yeah. And it's just us going on a road trip somewhere, just driving, throw the map out the window. We'll figure out how we get there.
Wow. We're going to end up at Tennessee at Jason's tobacco farm.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Fun.
Let's do
I'm
it.
into it.
All right. What about you?
Finishing out my podcast column, I had new original podcast programming, which I guarantee is going to happen. I just don't know exactly when, and I don't know how it will relate to Bobsleds and Banthas. But Kennedy's working on a really fun show. I'm so proud of her. It's called Minimally Researched, which is just it's her teenage research of topics she finds interesting.
Oh, that's great.
Miniature golf holes, soft serve ice cream, just things she's interested in. And it's really fun to have a conversation with her about how to edit, how to produce content.
Yeah.
What is your responsibility to source material and citing things and making sure you're not just quoting somebody that was quoting somebody that was quoting somebody.
No, there isn't. It's the internet.
It's the internet. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So
you just say whatever you want.
So there's definitely new programming coming. And then on Patreon, rounding out my content section was I wonder if we can do a watch commentary video for Patreon where we watch.
Absolutely can.
That's something I really want to do in 2022 is watch a movie or an episode with you and comment on it so that people can listen with us.
Yes.
That would be really fun for me.
I am 100% on board with that. I love that idea. That's something I've been wanting to do. And so I'm really glad you brought that up. The additional podcast factors into my resolutions as well.
Good.
My desire is to launch a second or third podcast. Like we may have mentioned on the show before that my oldest, Conan, and I have been dabbling around with a show called When I Was Your Age, which is conversations between a dad and his kid about the way things are and the way things were. And but like we've talked about before, it's really hard. It's
super
really hard to sit down, record, produce, record, post-produce, distribute, all those things. And so I'd really like to get regularity behind that in the same way that you want to do that with Kennedy.
Let's move on to merchandise in my merchandise category.
Does it say Sparkle Dashy Super Clean?
Yeah, we're definitely a shirt that says Sparkle Dashy Super Clean. And I think I want to know from the community, from listeners, like when can we do a pin? I want to do a real enamel, a real soft enamel pin.
I would love that. Or a baseball hat. I would also love a baseball hat.
Pin or a baseball hat.
Well, maybe a pin and a baseball.
There you
hat.
go. That's what I'm heading the merch. Let's move into theme parks really quickly. New Year's resolution for theme parks. Me is go to Knott's Berry Farm.
Which was one of your resolutions last year.
Did not achieve it. I blame the pandemic. It's a hot thing to do. So I'm.
It's interesting you blame the pandemic, but you managed to go to Disneyland 3 times and buy annual passes to Universal Studios.
You're a terrible parent. There's like no arguing with you as your kid. You're like, I don't think I heard her sign that. You're like, oh, it's weird that you didn't hear her. Not arguable with. You're right, Scott. I could have made it a priority.
No, it's because of COVID.
It was because of COVID.
Yeah.
I couldn't prioritize Knott's Berry Farm. My dad says I've actually been. He's the unofficial Aaron Truth checker of this show. Several times he's been like, I don't know if we did serve like almonds or whatever on Halloween. And I was like, we did. And he's like, I don't think so. And then that took 2 weeks and he's like, we might have. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We might have.
So you may have gone to Knott's Berry Farm.
I think he says that I've been there, but I was very young and didn't do anything.
Okay.
But probably cry. I was probably a big cry.
That's sad.
Probably a big crier when I was young.
Just about anything in general?
I'm just a very emotional person, and I bottle it up for so long it just comes out.
Happiness or just like crying just for any reason?
Overwhelmed.
Just overwhelmed.
There's a lot of things moving.
Yeah.
You guys sure I don't have to go on any of the big ones?
Like maybe your shoe didn't get tied correctly. That type of thing?
That would it would be fine for a week. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, I don't want to go on the one that goes upside down. And my dad would be like, you don't have to. But he'd say it in a way that confused me. And my shoe would be untied. And I didn't get the flavor of whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, it's all a lot.
I can't take all of it.
And I would just start crying. And they're like, look how cute he is in his little zips, his little kangaroo shoes.
His little kangaroos.
Yeah. And I'd be like, it's not cute. I'm legitimately upset. We still recording?
Yeah, we are.
Yay.
I'm just making sure.
Knott's Berry Farm. Spend a little more time in the classics in Disneyland, Storyland. The Storyland canal boats I like. Dumbo.
Spend more time in the Storyland canal boats.
Yeah, I almost never ride them, and I love that ride.
Yeah, it's
I love it. And that goes with my major theme park goal is to slow down. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, this is going to be hard.
I promise it every year. Like, we are going to slow down. We do not need to shove every hour full of every activity and constantly be on our phones planning the next thing. We can just slow down, and it's very hard. It's hard for me to do it. I don't think you can
slow down. I don't think Disney has allowed you to slow down.
Yeah, they're like,
if anything,
here's some ways we can make it go faster.
Yeah, we need to speed this up for you.
Yeah.
So you're going against the grain there.
I know. Yeah, I'm worried about it. What about
you? If you go more, you can slow down, but that requires you to go more.
Right. Yeah, or go like on a 5-day or 3-day or go more.
Right.
But, when our kids just get so amped, Penelope especially, we get a daily reminder that she would like to go back to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
And, and so when she goes there, she's like, we don't have to go fast. But then when we get there, you get into the planning, get on the phone, you get into the thing. I talked to somebody that had not the Lightning Lane, but the Genie Plus, where you just buy the add-on, which is like the Fat Max Pass
for us,
kind of thing. They said they enjoyed it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not really different than Max Pass, except for the fact that you can't get...
There's no free version of it, yeah.
Yeah, you can't get the 2 most popular attractions to actually get
Those
are
mandatory light laning.
Which you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, that's a problem.
It is.
It will always be a problem.
Yeah.
just, I don't care how long this is. It will always be a problem that if you want to be guaranteed to get on the ride you really want to get on, you have to pay money for it.
The AAAs or the Triple E attraction, you're going to have to pay for that one.
Which reminds me, there's a really good article that came out this past week from themeparktourist.com, which I believe is going to be the inspiration for next week's episode.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's
fun.
Theme park resolution, mine... Here, I just had this note. It said, will I actually go to a Disney theme park?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I don't know. Last year, I was like, absolutely, I can't wait to go. I don't want to go with a mask on, but I don't think I'm going to have to go with a mask on, like that type of thing. And of course, 2021 came and went. And the biggest stumbling block for me in going to a Disney theme park, aside from cost, because it's become very, very expensive, but aside from cost, has been like, but I want to go with that 2019 mentality of, hey, we don't have to overthink going to the park. We're just going to go to the park. And 2021 didn't allow for that. I don't know whether or not 2022 will allow for that. But I really do want to go back to a Disney theme park. I'm saying you
got to go because I don't feel like there's any knock on whatever you want to knock on. I don't feel like there's any major. I feel like Genie Plus is there, Lightning Plus is there. I don't think there's major changes coming. I think what we have now is kind of what it's going to be.
I think
for a
you're
while.
right. I mean, I think you're going to see major changes in 2023 because a lot of things are going to be opening.
Yes.
So I think 2022 is sort of like this bridge year between from COVID before we start opening things back up again. So I really am curious to see the way the pandemic is going, the way COVID, the way COVID affects people this year. And I'm curious to see whether or not by the second half of 2022, things feel somewhat normal in one of the two states that have Disney parks.
Yeah.
And that there is some sort of, again, 2019 we'll call return to normalcy that I'm aiming for
or at least return to consistency.
Right.
That it's been this way for now many months where you have to mask indoors, not outdoors, the lightning lanes there. Like there's some consistency. For a while there, when I first started going back to the park, it was changing every 3 weeks.
Right, exactly. You had no idea what to expect.
Yeah. Would that most likely be Disneyland for you? Is there any shot that would be Walt Disney World?
I think there absolutely is a shot that it would be Walt Disney World. I mean, I'd love to go back to Disneyland first. I'd really love that. I would love to experience Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland rather than in Hollywood Studios. But I do think that it is very possible that we go to Walt Disney World as well.
Interesting. Well, let me know.
I will.
My last category of resolution, obviously, is Snowman.
Obviously, it's Snowman.
Resolutions I have for that is just a little more showtime. I feel like he really got
the short end of the
snow
stick.
I could tell that I hurt his feelings. Like I didn't have time to say goodbye before he melted.
Yeah.
But I could tell I hurt his feelings before that. And then
you were a little curt with him.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
and I noticed that as he was leaving away, I was watching his lower ball, his big ball. I call
just sort of roll away.
I was watching it kind of swaddle back and forth, and I went, I hurt that guy.
And he said,
"You hate to see me go, but you love to watch me leave."
Is that what he said?
Yeah. And I was just like, I didn't even hear it. I don't even acknowledge when he does stuff like that. I don't even acknowledge
You're like,
it.
"Oh, Snowman, you're gross."
You're gross. Go melt. Yeah, try again next year. So I think a little more conscious of the time Snowman's on the episodes, and then just a little more like awareness of my stick humor, because I feel like sometimes. Like I'm dealing with stuff.
We're still talking about the Snowman, the stick humor of his arms, his branch arms.
Yeah, I do. I go Twiggy a lot, and I know it's not like he's ever told me, please don't call my arms like Twiggy.
Yeah.
Because they are in fact twigs.
Yeah, but he's probably self-conscious about it.
That's what I think, even though they legitimately are twigs.
Right, but he doesn't know whether or not you were describing them what they are or whether you're using them as an adjective.
That's right. That's what I found to be the problem is that, and so I just want to be more conscious of that because I enjoy having him on the show. And I
think when you call them twiggy arms, it's insulting to him because you could just call them your twigs.
That's what I need to do.
Right.
I need to pivot on the whys. Adverbs and adjectives are dangerous in today's world.
They really are.
So those are my Snowman resolutions.
Hey, I'm sure he'll be very happy to hear that.
I literally can't wait to see him, and I'm mostly saying that because I have 11 months to get ready for it.
Do you not like Snowman? Does he irritate
Snowman.
you a little bit?
You don't want to know the real answer to that question. The real answer to that question, I will give it, is that you're pretty good at doing characters. And when you play Snowman, in my mind, I get kind of confused what we're doing. And I'm like...
You actually think you're talking with the Snowman?
A little bit. There's a little bit. Your eyes do, they start to sparkle a little bit. Like, they're always a little sparkly, but they sparkle a little more, and you happy. And I'm just like,
I feel like doing a bit right now? Or
I feel like I'm having a character greeting. I really do. Like, not 100%, but it's at least it's at least enough to make me a tiny bit I'm 46. You're 46. I'm having a character
two
meet and
grown
greet.
men having a conversation right now, but your conversation is imitating a magical snowman.
Exactly. And if you asked me when I was young, if that's where I'd end up, I'd be like, probably. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's right.
But
your
to
dad
be
could
there,
definitely affirm that.
yes, he would be like, that does make sense for you. But actually being there at work at a place of higher learning, doing a character meet and greet with a character that doesn't exist, it's cool.
This is my life every day.
Yeah.
Imagine what it's like in my head.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you have 11 months to prepare for
Yeah,
the
I
return
will
of
be.
Snowman, so that's good.
Yeah.
That was your last resolution for 2022?
That was.
Oh, I don't have much more.
Okay.
I would love to get some of the people that we wanted to talk to this past year, but we didn't get a chance to talk
Okay.
to. So, for example, again, Tony Baxter.
Definitely.
We get Tony Baxter, we can end the show after we get done with Tony Baxter. So, listen, listeners, if you're sick and tired of listening to Bobsleds and Banthas, would you please lobby Tony Baxter to come on the show?
Yes.
We'll stop the show for you. Okay?
Eric Goldberg.
Eric Goldberg, we had set up to talk with him
At the Tam O'Shanter.
and then we couldn't land that plane because of us.
Yeah.
Well, no, I take that back. At that point, it was at the height of COVID restrictions, and so there was a lot of COVID gymnastics that had to be done. In order to
COVID
do
gymnastics. I like that. There was. I remember going through that process, and it'd be a dream to.
Oh, we'll pick that back up. I think we will pick that back up. Daniel Joseph, the preeminent Illusioneer, who is just amazing. He helped develop Space 220, the Space 220
Oh, yeah, the restaurant. I love it.
He is the mastermind behind the Hatbox Ghost. Just a fantastic Imagineer. We were going to talk to him last year, and then we just never got a chance to solidify those plans. So having him on the show, I'd love to have Tom Morris come back on the show because we had a third episode that was planned of just us having a candid conversation about the state of theme parks, and I want to hear about how his book is going. Just some of those people that we've been wanting to talk to and spend time with, and we just ran out of time over the past year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
a good one.
That's
I love
like that's my big one for Bobsleds itself.
Love it.
As we're approaching episode 100.
I know.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
We should do episode 100 from the Tam O'Shanter.
Oh my goodness.
A hot chicken
with
place
Eric
right
Goldberg?
across the street and down 2 blocks.
Holy moly.
Yeah. I mean, it was like we could go to Tam O'Shanter, play 9 holes of golf or not, and then we go to that hot chicken place.
Why not? Let's just do it all.
Clucks and wings or whatever.
So we're going to have a giant steak dinner and then have hot chicken?
Exactly. You're on it.
Whew.
It's going to be a big day.
That's going to be a big day.
Yeah.
Don't eat a big breakfast.
No.
Actually do the opposite.
Don't eat breakfast because you're going to have a big old steak and then you're going to have clucks and blaze.
That's it. Those are our current resolutions for 2022. And they feel good.
Yeah, they do. They feel
good.
doable. They feel appropriate. They feel like correction setting, direction defining.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hey, listener, if you would like to see us do anything in particular, you're like, hey, I would love to see Aaron and Scott do this in 2022. I would love to hear. I'm not guaranteeing we're going to do it,
Ooh.
but I would love to hear what it is.
Yeah.
And you can do that by emailing us at podcast@bobsledsandbanthas.com. You can DM us on, I almost said Twitter. Don't do DM us on Twitter. You can DM us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or send us a message on Facebook. Why don't you?
They could even email you at your Bobsleds and Banthas email address.
Scott at Bobsleds and Banthas.
Yeah, which you've had for a year and not used.
I just realized it.
Yay!
I set up a password because now I can log in.
Fantastic.
So yeah, let us know what are the things that you would like to see out of Bobsleds in 2022. This is as much your show as it is ours, so help steer us. We would love that.
Yeah.
It's weird because we're in a place where there are nothing but practice rooms, and nobody ever seems to use the practice room.
It's the babushka. It's the Russian stacking doll of practice rooms.
Yes.
It's like we could practice outside or in the hallway or in the gathering room or actually in a practice room or inside the piano inside one of the practice rooms.
Right. And they always choose right next to Aaron and Scott.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We love making the show, and we hope you've enjoyed listening to it. This has been a podcast, and that podcast is called Bobsleds and Banthas.
Oh, neat.
And we release every week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Facebook.
YouTube. Maybe.
Hopefully. We can also be heard on the Magic of the Mouse Radio every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can check out Magic of the Mouse Radio for the best Disney music and podcast 24/7 by visiting wdisby.com or bobsledsandbanthas.com/radio. Please be sure to follow us. We would love it if you left us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts.
Please do.
Or just a 5-star on Spotify. It really helps other people find out about the show, and we like to know what you think about it. So please do that.
Consider doing it now.
Consider doing it while I continue to
Make
do this.
that
this
your
outro.
New Year's resolution.
There you go. And then do it over and over again.
There you go.
You can visit us at bobsledsandbanthas.com. You can email us, podcast@bobsledsandbanthas.com, Scott@bobsledsandbanthas.com, Aaron at bobsledsandbanthas.com, or you can support us, patreon.com/bobsledsandbanthas. Hey, we just recorded a new podcast that we're putting on Patreon.
Yeah.
We just recorded a new Patreon podcast.
Stuff about Santa Cruz in there, Reality Bites. There's some stuff in there.
There was a call to my wife.
That went horribly.
It was, the audio production is terrible.
Very unfair.
You would think it was the first time we ever recorded a podcast.
It seemed the first time you ever talked to your wife.
You would think that too.
Didn't seem you knew any of the rules.
I had no idea, but we did it. You can wear us at tpublic.com, and you can join the other Banthateers for all the fun we have on Instagram, which Aaron says I don't have to do as much anymore. So
That's
I'm going
true.
to listen to that.
Aaron said
but
that.
when we do it, it's at Bobsleds and Banthas. Until next week, he's been Aaron.
Happy and prosperous.
And I've been Scott. Oh, I'm sorry, you're still going.
Not really.
And I've been Scott, and we've been Bobsleds and Banthas.
See you next week.
Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom Disneyland is growing every day. This Saturday night. Now there are more new rides for more fun.
In electro-synthomagnetic musical sound. Through the magic of light and sound.
Yes, there's more fun at Disneyland in Anaheim. Open every day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.